Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Sunday Morning Coffee with Lisa. I'm Spiritual Coach Lisa Hopp. It is Sunday, August 29, 2021. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you are new to my podcast and to me and my services, please be sure to check out my website at lisahopp.com for all about my upcoming events, my services, and my bio, all about me and why I do the work I do. I would appreciate it also very much for those of you who don't know about the work that I do. I am a certified life coach. I am also a spiritual medium. I am a healing teacher. I am a hypnotherapist. I have what I call practice. And if you found me on this YouTube channel, I also have actually more than one YouTube channel. And I have to get back to the others and really dedicate myself there. But I am here to serve. And I knew when I was 3 years old, at least as young as 3 years old, that I'd come here to serve as a spiritual teacher. I didn't know exactly what that meant, what I was supposed to do. And I even remember consciously asking, what am I supposed to do? They must have, enjoyed that a bit, whomever was listening. But I do believe I have figured it out, at least over the last couple of decades, of how to serve. And I'm ever increasing my awareness, my growth, my knowledge in order to serve even more. So I hope you're along for the ride and stay tuned and hopefully in some way I've been able to serve all of you listening, and we'll have the opportunity to serve all of you listening in the future. And for those of you coming back every week and giving your testimonials, your requests, I do appreciate it. I say it and I mean it because, again, it matters. I want to hear from you. I don't always know if how to tackle some of the requests that I'm given. And I just mean, sometimes I'm not the greatest expertise on certain topics outside of health, love, and wealth and personal development. But I can definitely apply whatever you request of me to what my my primary source of serving is. I can bring it around, and so please, yes, write at Serenity Harbor at Verizon.net. Get in touch, even if it is about crop circles, aliens, whatever it is, Bigfoot. I'll go there. In some way, I'll apply that to the topics that I cover through my work. That wasn't a suggestion for any of them, by the way. It was just an example. So let's get started. The topic of today. I want to say really quick, just thoughts and prayers to those in the States, down in Louisiana area. You are about to deal with a huge storm again on the anniversary of Katrina, which hit you in 2005. And I do not know how you have the courage and the strength to be able to cope with these massive storms, but just sending thoughts and prayers and wishing all the best and hoping that everyone is safe and understands to be safe. No, it's important. It's very important. So hopefully it will dim down this storm and things will turn out better than what is being forecast today. To the topic. So I had a request at the beginning of the week, and once again going to apply that request to the overall topics and intentions of this podcast for all of you. And this intention of this podcast for all of you listening is to help you live a better life and to also understand how energy works, how the universe works, what your power is, your ability to create your ideal life. And so the topic today is about achieving love, peace, and harmony in your life, especially in that challenging area of our love lives, Now here is where we get into a bit of a pickle in our love lives. And I want to start, and I may stay with if you're in a current relationship. Now, if you're not in a current relationship, then apply it to the lesson of your previous relationship, okay? So then you can get ready for the relationship that is trying to come into you. So this topic is for everyone, all right? Whether you're in a current relationship or not. So, it is often, I think we're taught, I want to start with saying this. We have to deal with the teachings and the programming that we're given when we go into a relationship. We're taught, and some of it is from our own knowing of heaven, but we're taught that we can and we should look for that perfect person, that person who completely aligns with us, and they will love us. They should love us. And they love us so much that they will always be willing to adjust to what we want, to be who we want them to be. That knight on a white horse, or that lady on a white horse, that perfect person to rescue us, to fulfill us, in the words of the Jerry Maguire movie, to complete us. Worst movie line ever. So we go in with these expectations that person must be what we want. That person, and if not, they must change if they love us enough. It always comes back to if they love us enough. And then we have the Hallmark movies, don't we? The fairy tales, the happy endings, the Cinderella stories, where we're rescued again, where we're loved. We have the Secret Admirer movies where we're loved secretly by someone and they're going to come through for us. And it takes the responsibility of our relationships right away from us. It puts it right on the other person. And it always comes back to, if you love me enough, if you really love me, you would change. And so I say this every day in my appointments with my clients, because it comes up every day. And one of them, at least one of them, I always say the love song station, whether it be a satellite station or just a local station that focuses on love, you'll notice it's often about heartbreak. It's often what the person had to leave behind, or the person's waiting for that person to come back, or it's always about tears. It doesn't have to be that way. It's not supposed to be that way. You see, we come from another dimension to arrive in our body on this earth. And that other dimension you can know as heaven, or source, or just a higher dimension. And I'm sure there's other names that it's been called. I like to call it home, because I've experienced it, and that's where I felt I was, just for a moment. And in that place of home, I felt loved, accepted, adored. It was immeasurable. And we all are connected to home. As you walk around this earth, you still have that connection to home. And your soul still has that memory. So, it wants that memory. It wants that experience here on earth. It knows it can have it, your soul and your heart and your consciousness. So it ever is looking for it. And we all get confused when we meet someone and we don't look like maybe we're having it. We don't understand, like, why are they not cooperating with this feeling of immeasurable love and unconditional love and acceptance and adoration that I know is my birthright, that I know I am given? Why are they being so human? Why are they being all about themselves? Because they're supposed to be, as you are supposed to be. While we are all connected by one energy and one overall story, we inhabit our physical body to also have our individual stories, to learn, to grow, to expand. And we'd often, if not always, choose to do it through the relationships in our lives. Before you came here, you said, yes, meet up with me. Cross my path, whether you are a moment, a lifetime, or a few months, so that I learn, so that I grow, so that I become a greater version of myself. And bless you. And I bless you. You bless me, I bless you. And it's going to be all good. And we're going to love it. And then we get here. And our conscious mind doesn't remember how that was all set up. All it knows is what it's thinking, what it's feeling, what it's experiencing on a very human level, while knowing at the core that it's not supposed to be like that, but not quite sure how to get to that place. Well, I'm going to try and tell you today, or hope to advise you on how to get to that place where you can have love, peace, and harmony in your relationships. But I'm going to center it today on the romance. It can be applied to the family relationships and the platonic friendships as well. It should be. Now, Louise Hay, the great writer and matriarch of Hay House, the publishing company, she often said, never use the word should. And I just used the word should, because she felt it was going against the will of the person, telling them what they should do, a little bit strong. You have free will, and you can listen from my podcasts listen to them and take away from it whichever your will wants to. I advise and I leave it with you. So when I say should, I always hear her voice saying, don't say should. When I say should, it's because I know what I'm telling you is truth. But I would never expect you to listen. I only hope that it helps. So keep that in mind when I use the word should. So achieving love, peace, and harmony. I received a request, as I have started to tell you at the beginning of the week. We have a situation. We have two wonderful people that have found each other. And as it has started, they came together with like mind, like energy. They aligned with each other, and things started out wonderfully and built up in a loving romantic relationship. But now it's time to come to the next level, to take that next step. And they have a predicament, as couples can often have. In this particular scenario, one is a tremendous animal lover. They have had a dog their entire lives. They actually have one today, though the dog is not currently living with them. They have a strong desire, because of their love of animals and of this particular animal, to bring the dog into their home, to make this dog a part of their family. But their partner is not on board. The partner does not want to support this decision. So now they are on opposite sides, and they have an obstacle. It has gotten to the point where they are considering living apart and moving away from each other because of this. Here's the thing. There is no right and wrong in this scenario. Each person has their own feelings, their own needs, their own thoughts about all of this. So I was asked to give my advice on this, and I'm going to give a list of how to attain harmony in this relationship, if possible, for it to be done in such a way that these two wonderful people can find a way to forge forward together. But this is wonderful because it also can be applied when two people are also dealing with perhaps a child coming to live with you that came from another relationship or a previous relationship, or where to have your home, or if we should move for work. Relationships always deal with decisions and that next course, that next step. It's part of the growth. It's part of the increase of love. I giggle now, not because of the topic, but because it is Sunday morning and someone outside has gotten an early start to the lawn care, so you may hear a bit of a weed whack out there. It's Pleasant Valley Sunday in the neighborhood. So bear with me if you do hear it, though I have a wonderful microphone that tends to drown out external noises. But if it doesn't this time, we'll get through this. So, the first order of business is, it is important to have communication, and not communication where you stand stiff in a defensive mode and say no, and period it, and walk away. We often want to press our feelings onto another and put them in a defensive mode. Our departed loved ones are our best helpers because they talk to us when we're sleeping to help. They get through the defenses. But here on earth, we have to work a little bit harder to get through. And so it is very possible that a misunderstanding has occurred. Is there understanding about why one of the partners does not want an animal? Is there a previous traumatic experience about an animal? Or do they just not like the smell or something like that? listening, patience, understanding. Remember, it should never be, if you love me, you will allow this. Having that sit down, that discussion, the whys, the hows, the whats, the opportunity to explain. If an animal comes on board, this is what I feel my role will be. Negotiations, perhaps. All of this is really the first order. We have to listen. And sometimes we have to listen to what's not said as well. Because sometimes it's very hard to express ourselves. But two people who are in a loving, committed relationship, they already have gotten to know each other. They already have that link, that connection. So even if you're not being told why, fully and specifically, we can always tell there's something underlying going on. It's not just always simply, I don't like it, no. So always communicate. And most importantly about communication, speak about how you feel. This is where I am coming from. Never bottle up. It's important. We cannot assume, even if we have a very close, committed relationship, that the other person understands or is hearing us. Some relationships, they're very much like Mars and Venus. We have two different minds figuring it all out, and they both do it individually in their own way. So once the communication happens, you see where you are. And if you're still at your stop, you still cannot move forward. The second thing to do, the second step, is to come from a place of unconditional love. Let's apply it to the scenario of the animal. Let us say that after both parties have peacefully, patiently, understandingly expressed why it is so important for one, what brought animals to be so important to them, and why it is not important to the other, or is a block for the other, when all of the cards are laid on the table. If we are still at an impasse, what do we do? Love, accept each other, no matter what. And immediately go into gratitude for what is right between your relationship, between yourselves. What is there that you can be grateful for? What is there that you are so appreciative of? And put aside the issue. Put aside the issue and go straight into that in-the-moment gratitude. And look in the eyes of that other person with immeasurable love. The love that one of you would give to that animal. The love that we give to children, especially our own children. The love that we would give to sometimes the easiest person is a stranger. That unconditional kindness, gratitude, in the moment, you matter love, perfection, adoration. You do that. And you keep that up every moment that you can possibly keep that up. Third step. Ask yourself this question. Is this issue so large that you cannot be happy with this person? Is everything else that you have with this person not enough to make you happy? Or is there a way that this can be worked out? You see, the happiness of each partner matters equally. Every person on this earth deserves happiness. Every person. No one more than another deserves happiness. And so it's why it's so important to honor how a person feels and to love them unconditionally, no matter what. However, yes, loving unconditionally does not mean settling. What it does mean, if you love someone, sometimes you have to set them free. Now we immediately go to the physical with that, don't we? You're telling me I have to break up with someone. Setting them free starts at emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and then, if necessary, physically. But it always has to be there. If you love someone, you set them free. That's actually the fourth step. But back to the third. Is it large enough that you're willing to redefine this relationship? And if so, then you must. Redefine is, I love you unconditionally, but we are here, and I must have what I must have here, and I accept and love you that you cannot. And because I love you, I will let you go. Fourth step. I will let you go to something else or to someone else. And if you are meant to be with me, you will come back. Because wills always get their way, listeners. Wills always win out. And two people that have a will to be together will always return to each other. Whether if it's a moment or with longevity. And sometimes there can be sadness. But when you free someone, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, and if necessary, physically, it means you are meant to go on to greater, as they will. Perhaps this couple that has the issue with an animal have done their time as a couple, have had their blessing, and now one of them is ready to move on, if not both. We come together sometimes for a short period or a longer period. Sometimes we simply outgrow each other. If it is time to move on, it could very simply be growth. And it is time for upgrades. But once again, everything done in a loving way. It's that way in heaven. It's how your departed loved ones see you. They love you more today than they did when they were on earth. They can only want more and more and more for you. A spouse in heaven wants their beloved to move forward and to be happy. Not to mourn, not to be a one and only for them, but to have fulfillment on earth because of unconditional love. It is not just about those who have crossed over. It is supposed to be like that for everyone on earth. So let me summarize. Communicate with heart and soul and mind. Listen as well as speak. Love your partner unconditionally. Accept them for all their wonderments, all their perfections, and all their quirks. Feel gratitude for what is good, and milk it, and milk it, and milk it. Don't just be ready to race out the door, fighting, discord, disharmony, not talking for weeks, all those things we do. Drama. Drama only brings unhappiness and more discord and more disharmony. Milk the gratitude, milk the love. Then decide, is that bump large enough that I cannot be happy? That all the pros do not outweigh the con? Would my life be emptier without that person? Or would I be happier? Honesty is necessary. Doing it with love, being honest. And if you love someone, you set them free. I understand why you're in the place you are. I love you. You deserve happiness. Taking care of each other. Even if you're not meant to be together, being warm towards each other, looking out for the other one. And then being willing to adjust so that you are together, or to go on to an upgrade that is a different face. You see that last part, you're upgrading whether you're together or not together. It's a win-win. Because if you've gotten through all those steps and you're still together, you guys have upgraded. And if you're not together, you're going to upgrade separately. But either way, you're upgrading your romantic life. And when I say setting someone free again, let them go. It's so hard for us to let people go. If we break up with them, we'll wait for the phone call. We'll look for the text. Or maybe we'll watch them on social media. Set them free. Let them go. Focus on the present moment of something else. Because the more you set them free, if they are meant to return to you, they'll arrive back sooner. When we wait, when we argue, when we give ultimatums, we are only delaying our happiness. We are stopping ourselves from having what we most want. So very important to keep that in mind. Sometimes we waste time so much. The wonderful thing about heaven is, though, they will give us back time sometimes, because time's very manipulating. It's very manipulative. It's, as many people say, it's an illusion, because it can reverse, it can speed up, it can do strange things, because it's not the way we often view it. It cannot be controlled by an alarm clock or a space of time. And if a relationship is wearing because of one topic, because of one block, one issue, it was going to wear, it was going to fray or be tested all along. Look at what's important. See the love. Feel the love. Rhonda Byrne, the creator of The Secret, was asked recently, how do I attract love? And her answer was simply, feel love for everything and everyone. These two partners, look into your eyes, see that love, feel that love. And then your solution to what to do about this relationship will come right from there. It will come right from there. You'll know. If you want to run towards an animal, that is your answer. If you want to work something out, that is your answer. Love will bring the answer. And as always, we must honor as the other person feels. We may not like it. The truth of the matter is, people don't change unless they change for themselves, because will brings change. And the will is personal. You can want to be a better person. You can want to stick to a diet for someone. You can want to do many things that are good. But if it's not personal to you, you won't do it. I will and cannot change for someone else. And I don't mind that at all. I will, however, work all the time to change for myself, to be my greatest version. That is what I'm talking about. And it's all right if you love that person, but they're not good enough. They don't have it all. You can still love them as you redefine your relationship and walk on. This life is meant to be a game, an adventure, a college class, a boot camp. It is meant for the growing, the expansion, and the lessons. Your relationships are your greatest teacher for these lessons. And everybody, as I said, jumped on board. Grow, learn, expand, be happy. You can choose to be happy right where you are right now. You don't need things to be better to be happy. You don't need to agree 100% to be happy. Happiness is within no matter what. Go towards the happiness, and your worlds will open up in such an amazing and miraculous way to more things and more experiences and more people to make it even happier, more peaceful, more harmonious than ever before. Love. Might tackle how to attract love next time. We'll see. But it definitely will be a topic in the future. But for right now, it's been 42 minutes, so I'm going to leave it at this one with current relationships and how to make them brighter and better, more peaceful, more harmonious. Love each other as you want to be loved. It's really that simple. And love yourself as you wish to be loved. And everything will always work out for your highest good. Thank you so much for joining me on this Sunday. Once again, stay safe. Be happy, be blessed. Feel gratitude and feel love. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and share if you're on YouTube. And also like and follow me on Facebook under Spiritual Teacher Lisa Hop and my website, lisahop.com. Thank you so much again. Have a wonderful, blessed Sunday and a wonderful week.